Hello and welcome back to English Earwaves. My name is Maya, and I am so glad you have decided to spend some time with me today. Have you ever had this experience? You study your English textbook, you learn new words, you understand the grammar rules, you feel like you are making good progress. But then you turn on a movie, or you hear two native speakers talking on the street, and suddenly, it all disappears. The English you hear sounds like one long, fast river of noise. You try to catch a word, but it flows away too quickly. It can feel so disappointing, can't it? It can make you feel like all your hard work is for nothing. If you have ever felt this way, I want you to know that I understand completely. For a very long time, this was the biggest problem in my English journey. My eyes could read English, but my ears could not understand it. But today, I am going to share the story of how I trained my ears and learned to find the words inside the noise. This is the story of how I learned to listen. Here at English Earwaves, our goal is to help you build confidence in a calm and friendly way. So please, relax and listen. I hope my story can offer you some new ideas and a little bit of hope. My journey started in a library. I loved the library. It was quiet and full of books. I would spend hours there with my English dictionary and grammar guides. On paper, I was a good student. I could read articles and understand them. I could write sentences. I thought I knew English. My first test in the real world was a big failure. I was visiting a big city for the first time. I was in London. The city was exciting and full of energy. I wanted to buy a ticket for the underground train, which they call the tube. I knew the words I needed, but when I went to the counter, the man behind the glass spoke so fast. He said something that sounded like, "Where do you want to go?" I froze. My brain felt like a computer that had crashed. I knew he was asking me a question, but I couldn't separate the sounds. Where, to, you, wanna, go. 5 words had become one. I just stood there, silent. I felt so foolish. In the end, I just pointed at a station on the map. I felt a deep sense of frustration. What was the point of knowing all these words if I couldn't understand them when a real person said them? For a while after that, I almost gave up on listening. I thought, maybe I will just be a reader of English. But I really wanted to understand movies and music and people. So I decided to try again, but with a new plan. My old plan was to listen to everything, the news, different movies, famous YouTubers, but it was too much. The different accents, the different speeds, the different topics, it was overwhelming. My new plan was simple. I would listen to only one person. This is my very first tip for you. Find your English comfort voice. I went on YouTube and I searched for something I was interested in, which was baking. I found a channel by a woman who had a lovely, calm voice. She spoke clearly and not too fast. I decided that for 1 month, I would only listen to her. I watched all of her videos about baking cakes and bread. I didn't try to listen to anyone else. The first week, it was still difficult. But by the second week, something amazing started to happen. My brain got used to the rhythm of her voice. I got used to her accent. I started to predict how she would say things. Because I was only listening to one voice, my brain had a chance to adjust. It was like my ears were finally able to relax and just listen instead of being in a constant state of shock. Find one person, a podcaster, a YouTuber, an audiobook narrator who speaks clearly and calmly. Listen to them every day. This gives your brain a simple, consistent pattern to learn from. So now I could understand my baking lady. But I still felt like I was just hearing the sounds, not grabbing the individual words. I needed to become a more active listener. This brings me to my second tip, which feels like a game. Play word detective. I realized that just having English on in the background while I was cleaning was not enough. I had to give my brain a job to do. So, I started playing a simple game. I would take a short audio clip from one of my baking videos, maybe just 30 seconds long. I would choose one very common, easy word to hunt for. For example, the word and. I would play the clip, and every time I heard the word and, I would make a mark on a piece of paper. Today we are going to bake a cake, and it will be a chocolate cake. You will need flour and sugar and 3 eggs. I would listen and tick, tick, tick. This game seems incredibly simple, but it is very powerful. It trains your brain to stop hearing a river of noise and to start identifying individual words. It teaches your ear to pick things out. After I got good at finding and, I hunted for other words like the, it, or is. This active, focused listening was so much more effective than hours of passive hearing. With my new listening skills, I decided it was time to be brave again. I wanted to understand a movie. But I knew that a 2-hour movie was too much. It would be another London Underground failure. So I decided to work with just one short scene. This is my third tip. Listen to the same short thing again and again and again. Repetition is magic for your brain. I chose a 20-minute scene from my favorite animated movie, Finding Nemo. I loved this movie, so I already knew the story. This was my process. First, I watched the 2-minute scene with English audio and subtitles in my own language. This was just to make sure I understood the basic meaning. Next, I watched it again, but this time with English subtitles. I would read the words as the characters said them. I would pause the video and look up any new words. Then I did the hard part. I turned off all the subtitles. I just listened. It was difficult, but because I had just seen the words, I could hear them much more clearly. Finally, I would watch it one more time with the English subtitles on, just to confirm what I thought I had heard. I did this with the exact same 2-minute scene every day for a whole week. By the end of the week, I knew every line. I could hear every word clearly. It felt like the scene had moved from my head into my heart. I had not learned 2 hours of English, but I had perfectly learned 2 minutes of English. And that success gave me the confidence to try the next 2 minutes the following week. During this time, I had a funny experience that taught me another lesson. My friend from America sent me a voice message. He spoke very casually and said, "Hey Maya, what's up?" I listened to it. What's up? I had never heard this phrase before. I thought he was asking me to look up at the ceiling. I was very confused. I messaged him back, "The ceiling?" He sent back a laughing emoji and explained that "what's up" is a very common, informal way to say, "Hello, how are you?" I learned that sometimes the words people say are not in the textbook. Real spoken English has a kind of music to it. What are you doing becomes what you doing. I don't know becomes I don't know. Learning to listen is also about learning the music of the language, not just the words. My next discovery was about connecting sound to the real world. This is my fourth tip. Watch and listen. Connect words to actions. I started watching videos that were very visual. My favorite were cooking videos. When the chef said, "Now I will slice the carrots," I could see him pick up a knife and slice the carrots. When he said, "Next, add a little salt," I saw him take a pinch of salt and sprinkle it in the pot. My brain made a direct connection between the sound "slice the carrots" and the action of slicing carrots. I didn't need to translate in my head. I didn't need a dictionary. The meaning was right there on the screen. This is a very natural way to learn, just like a child learns. Look for videos where people are making things, building things, or showing you how to do something. It could be makeup tutorials, science experiments, or home repairs. This method is incredibly powerful because it links language directly to meaning. Finally, I had to learn one more very important thing. I had to learn to relax. In the beginning, every time I missed a word, I would panic. And when I panicked, I would miss the next 5 words, and then I would feel lost and want to give up. So my fifth and final tip is this. It's okay not to understand everything. You do not need to understand 100% of a conversation to get the main idea. Think about it. Even in your own native language, do you hear every single word someone says in a crowded room? Probably not. You get the general idea from the words you do catch and from the context. I had to give myself permission to let some words go. I started to focus on listening for the key words, usually the nouns and the verbs. If someone says, "Yesterday new restaurant, pasta, delicious," you don't need to understand all the small words in between. You can understand the main story. Learning to listen is also learning to be comfortable with a little bit of mystery. It's about being a good guesser. My journey to understand spoken English was a slow one. It didn't happen overnight. It was built with small, patient steps. It was built by listening to my baking lady, by playing word detective, by watching the same movie scene 10 times, and by learning that it's okay to miss a few words. Today, I can watch movies without subtitles. I can have conversations with people from all over the world. I can even understand people on the London Underground. And the best part is, it's not scary anymore. It's interesting. Listening to English is now like opening a door to millions of new stories. So, let's quickly remember the 5 steps that helped me train my ears. Find your English comfort voice. Listen to one clear speaker every day. Play word detective. Actively hunt for small, common words. Listen to the same short thing again and again. Use repetition to master small pieces of English. Watch and listen. Connect words to actions with visual content like how-to videos. It's okay not to understand everything. Relax, listen for the main idea, and don't panic if you miss a word. If you feel like your ears are not as strong as your eyes when it comes to English, please do not be discouraged. Your ears just need some training, and they need you to be patient. Thank you for being here with me at English Earwaves and for listening to my story. I truly hope it has given you some useful ideas. Now it's your turn. In the comments below, please tell me, which of these tips are you going to try this week? Or do you have your own special tip for improving listening? Sharing our ideas helps everyone. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to English Earwaves for more stories and gentle listening practice. Remember to be kind to yourself and your ears. Happy listening, and goodbye for now.